I don't really want to be involved in a process after something has happened. I actually want to be involved in a process at the front end. To really just have this feeling that I'm trying to help people was something that was in my mind from a very early age. The entire community is an important way to look at things, even now. George Floyd was huge because it opened up wounds and it opened up a discussion on something that has been festering for a long time. Before Ferguson and before even Rodney King, you can look back historically at all of these different instances where there have been calls for change. I think that we are actually involved in change right now in this moment. That's going to be long lasting. It's very challenging. I was actually the victim of a crime when I was in middle school. Some kids came around at recess. We were getting ready for PE class, and they actually came into the locker room and tried to steal my watch and physically assaulted me. The officer that helped afterward was very supportive and helpful, went out of his way to take the time to check and see how I was. And that's the kind of work, the kind of perspective I like to have all of us in our sheriff's office, regardless of circumstance. That influenced me a lot. Some of the storefronts have changed, but what's really nice is that I still see some things that trigger memories, and the barbershop's one. The shoe store that we just walked by is another one that I remember buying shoestrings there and getting boots fixed, my dad's old army boots. Over at the Vogue, they used to have second run movies, so we'd see movies after their first run. My brother and I would go there, and it's really nice because if you keep walking down Sacramento, and the nice thing about the city in general is that it takes you right to Japantown. Back when my grandparents were growing up, Japantown was the place to go to get the traditional foods or to have the movies playing at the theater. They were able to celebrate their culture in that community. My family also had a dry cleaning business, so it was very hard work. The family actually grew up in the apartments above the business, which was very helpful because you have a built-in workforce. December 7th, 1941, as soon as that happened, the decision was made with, Executive Order 9066 to intern the entire community.
The military and civilian agencies alike determined to do the job as a democracy should, with real consideration for the people involved.
The decision to take everyone of Japanese American descent from their homes and relocate them. Unfortunately, that also meant you lose your businesses, your homes, everything that you've worked to establish. My family went to Heart Mountain. So they experienced winter, they experienced summer and spring, all the seasons, different from San Francisco. Very bare bones, but they tried to make their home a home. The community came together and shared things with each other. They tried to infuse each home with little things, the things that you just brought along with you, but also create things. So I remember my grandmother saying that they were very scared, very worried, but they also felt a great sense of pride.
Japanese Americans who've covered themselves with glory in Italy from Salerno to
My
Florence.
granduncles all joined the 442nd. So when the opportunity came to prove loyalty or to prove that this was not something that the community felt was right, they were a part of the different units that went and fought. The Lost Battalion, the Texas Battalion, then the campaigns in Italy. They were there every step of the way.
President Truman comes to pay the nation's tribute to Nisei heroes.
The fact that that was the most decorated unit in the history of the United States Army speaks to their level of commitment and loyalty to the country, in spite of the fact that all their family was still in the camps at that time. The fortunate decision is that they chose to come back to San Francisco, even after all of that. My father was a civil servant as well, and he served the state of California, first as a workers' compensation attorney, then judge, and then on the appellate board. My parents influenced me into looking at a career in civil service. I actually applied to the police, sheriff, and fire departments all at the same time, and the sheriff's department grabbed me first. It was a unique feeling to look out on those faces. It wasn't just me standing up there in that moment, it was everyone standing up there in that moment. And it wasn't me looking at a crowd, it was all of us just being together. You know, even though I was standing there alone in front of everyone, I felt everyone was standing next to me. The only way to describe it is just this sense of, it's not even about me. It was for my father. My father couldn't be there because he was sick. So the very first person I saw was him. I still sometimes get really surprised by the fact that I see my name as the sheriff. I am happy to be in the position I'm in to honor their memory by doing what I'm doing now to help the larger community. When I say that we want to be especially focused on marginalized communities, communities that have been wronged, coming from my background and my family having experienced what they did, you know, that didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a decision made by the government, and nobody raised their voice. Now I think we're in a better place as a country and as a community, because when we do see something wrong, we have change agents that step up and try to help whatever community is being affected. And I think that's a really important thing to continue to do. When we talk about change and when we talk about trying to be a leader in change and not knowing whether you will have successes or have the results, the fact of the matter is that by choosing to push for change, you've already changed things. Whether it's through inspiration for others to take up the banner, or whether it's through actual functional change as a result of your voice being heard, I think you've already started on a path to change by choosing that path. So just in doing that in and of itself creates change. Continuing that type of service from my family is something that I hope to see in my children. I have a pretty good chance with 5 children that one of them will go into some sort of civil service. So hopeful that that will happen too, to continue that legacy.
Present to you, Sheriff Miyamoto of the city.
Hi, my name is Paul Miyamoto. I'm the Sheriff of San Francisco, and this is my story.